Assalamu alaikum. This is Maqsudur Rahman. I hope you all are well and safe at home. Today, I'll be taking this online class for class 4's English Creative. And as the students will remember, we had completed studying Unit 7, which was a very informative non-fiction called Fire Beneath Our Feet. And as much as I can recall, we had also completed the exercises from that unit as well. Right. So today we'll be going through Unit 8, and this is another non-fiction, and it's called The Ganges, a Holy River. Now, the river Ganges, more commonly known as the river Ganga in our mother tongue, is very significant, mainly for the Hindu population that reside in India, right? And also, not only to the Hindu people, it has some religious significance for the Jain people and the Buddhists as well. So, today we will discuss some interesting aspects regarding this river. Um, Not only the Ganges, we will also learn about the cities surrounding it and also the people that live along this river, right? Okay, so before we start reading our text from the book, fortunately I had the chance to add this short clip to our video. So this clip is based on Ganges and the famous city of Varanasi. So hopefully I think we can relate better to our text after watching this clip, inshallah. So we will be starting our text after we go through this video. So hope you enjoyed that. Now we are turning to the text. But before that, if we just focus on this part, probably you'll be able to see that whatever images that we witnessed in the video and this picture in the book is quite similar, right? So probably this must be Varanasi. And what we can deduce from looking at these footages are that this city, the buildings in it, look very old, right? This must be one very ancient city. So anyways, let's turn to the text now. Okay, so you know the drill. We need to underline the words as we go along, the difficult words, and I'll try to tell you the meanings while we are reading. And also there is a list of these word meanings that I've compiled at the end of this lesson, right? So I'll add that to the video as well. Anyway, so let's start. The Ganges is India's most famous river. It is about 2,500 kilometers long and 200 million people live in its valley. So what we can see is Ganges is definitely very famous. It is most famous. It is actually the most famous river in India, right? And it is quite lengthy as well. It's quite long. So it's 2,500 kilometers, and 200 million people live in its valley. So that's a staggering amount, right? So before that, underlined valley. Valley means a low-lying place with a river, usually between two mountains, right? So it's a low-lying flatland. And in this valley of the Ganges, we can see that 200 million people are living in India. So that's like 20 crores. That's more than the population of Bangladesh. So staggering indeed. Now, Hindu people believe that the Ganges is a holy river. So every year, millions of them travel along it. Many go by bus or train, but some very fit people walk all the way, which can take 6 years. So that's a huge amount of time. So this is quite interesting indeed. So what we can see is, first of all, Hindu people, they believe that the Ganges is a holy river, right? So we know that. We have gotten the idea of that so far. Now, uh, every year what happens is there are these groups of Hindu people, and they have some customary beliefs and traditions of their own, right? So what they do is they walk along the coast of the Ganges. So most people probably they go by bus or train, but some very fit people, what they decide is they decide to walk along the coast, which takes like 6 years. So they must be extremely dedicated and devoted Hindus, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. And underline holy. I'm pretty sure you know all the words, but still, let's just get over this. Holy means very religious, right? And what else is there to underline? Okay, holy from this paragraph. Continuing. Many holy men live in the hills near the source of the river. Underline source, it means the originating point, right? So they claim to be able to tell the future, heal the sick, and get rid of bad luck. Some holy men do not eat for many weeks and wear only a thin cotton cloth in the bitter snows of winter. So after source, underline claim. Claim means to uh, say something, right? To say something without proof. And heal means to make someone better. Underline rid as well. So underline claim, heal, rid as well. Rid means to free of, to make free of something, right? And yeah, oh, underline bitter as well. Yeah, also bitter. Bitter, bitter means something very unpleasant, which they mean over here. But bitter also means something that is not sweet. But over here we can say that the meaning depicted here is bitter means something unpleasant, right? Like the cold of the winter over here. Okay, so from this paragraph, we can say that many holy men, these must be the Hindu devotees, right? They live near the source of the river, and what they claim is they claim to be able to tell the future, right? So they must be some kind of fortune tellers and people like that, right? And they heal the sick people and get rid of bad luck as well. So they are like these saints of some sort, and they claim to be able to do all this, right? So some of them are very devoted, and uh, this must be a ritual or custom of some sort. And what they do is they wear only this thin cotton cloth in the snows of winter, right? So they have these withstanding powers as well, right? So they claim to have this, and they are very devoted. Okay, so Hindus believe that the waters of the Ganges have special powers to heal sick people, and that their sins are washed away if they bathe in it. So this you probably can very much relate to the video. We have seen many people bathing in the river of the in the river Ganges in the video. So this is why actually they are bathing, right? They think that the water of the Ganges it's special, and it has the power to heal sick people. That's why we have definitely seen other footages as well before this, that many people go there, visit Ganges and bathe, right? So continuing now, the largest city on the banks of the Ganges is Calcutta. It is one of the most crowded cities in the world. The most famous holy city along the Ganges is Varanasi, which has many beautiful temples and religious museums. So let's see any words that you might find difficult here. No, this is pretty okay. Okay, so I hope you'll understand this. But what we can see is Calcutta is the largest city, right? We all know Calcutta, commonly known as Kolkata nowadays, and it's a very popular city in India. The Bengali speaking people live there, and this is the largest city, right? And it is one of the most crowded cities in the world as well. But interestingly, the most famous holy city along the Ganges is Varanasi. So Varanasi is probably the city that we saw in the video and the picture in the book, right? And this city, Varanasi, has many beautiful temples and religious museums. Something interesting again regarding Varanasi, I saw this in a documentary. Varanasi, the name, even though it might not find, you might not find the name familiar, but it has two other names as well. It's also called Banaras and it's also called Kashi, right? So uh, many people might have heard those names as well, right? So Varanasi is actually Banaras or Kashi as well. And Varanasi, I think the name came from uh, two rivers there, right? So those are probably the tributaries of Ganga, the Varuna River and the Assi River, and the Varanasi name came from those rivers, right? So, anyways, this is the interesting city and the most famous one along the coast of Ganges, right? So, on to the last paragraph now. The Ganges is not only important as a holy river, farmers use it to water crops, and the river has many fish which people can catch to eat or sell. Right. So now this is interesting and also important. Ganges is not only famous for its religious values and the religious aspects for the Hindus, not only the Hindus actually, the Jains and the Buddhists also have some significant religious associations with the river. Anyways, so it's not only famous for this, for only the religious views, it's also very useful as well, right? So the people living near the Ganges, they are watering their crops using the water of the Ganges, and definitely some people, the fishermen, they make their livelihood of it as well by catching and eating and selling the fish of the river as well, right? So this is the end of the chapter, and this is the end of the chapter, and we'll just turn to the word meanings now, and I'll summarize the chapter for you very shortly, and then we'll end the video. Okay, this is the list of word meanings, and you probably can write this down in your copy. So these are the words that we found from the unit: holy, valley, fit, source, claim, heal, rid, bitter, sin, and bank. And now to summarize the chapter, firstly, what we saw was that Ganges is India's most famous river. It is considered by many to be a holy river, right? Many Hindu and other religious people think this is a very holy river. And there are many holy men who live near the river, and they claim to have this. They claim to have these uh, powers or abilities, right? Of telling the future and healing the sick and these sort of things. And Hindus believe the waters of the Ganges to be special. We saw that they bathe in the river and they think it will wash away their sins and it will heal them of diseases. The most famous holy city along the Ganges is Varanasi. So we saw that this ancient city, Varanasi, and we saw the city in the video as well. And finally, we saw that the river Ganges also plays an important role for the people living along it. So not only does it have significance for the religious people, it is also important to support the lives of the people living around it, right? So these are the main points. And in your copies, I need you to complete the comprehension skills part. That is on page 39, and I need you to complete this part, the comprehension skills A, which are the fill in the blanks, and comprehension skills B, which are the question answers. So that's all for today, and hope to see you soon. And I hope you're all safe and stay safe and stay well at your homes. So thank you. Assalamu alaikum.